Hey, trained clients every day. Jordan School coming at you from the S.T.E.M lab here today. I'm just going to do a regular vlog for you today. Maybe talk about the General's Command Directive and the journal and the mathematics and stuff like that a little bit. But like I said, well, I haven't said it yet. Managed to get a few new clothes in case I do go get an interview or something like that. Hopefully, I don't know. As of right now, what's the hell's going on really? I know um, Cannonsville Lumber. They've been in the paper for a month. I'll probably here pretty soon in another 18 days or something like that. I'll have to apply again. Because the 60-day window will be up, and what's the point in putting an application and a resume in the paper if you're going to make people wait that long? Um, just on the standard. I put in two. Um, just to keep my president known, I'll probably have to go back up there and do a follow up, and a few of the other places as well. Now this is the big one that's kind of been stressing me out lately with a lot of stuff, because obviously I've been trying to do pretty good with probation. Obviously I'm not smoking any dope. I don't drink, so that never really was much of a problem, and I didn't really hang out with anybody, so that's not much of a big deal. Um, didn't really drive too far out of the region to begin with, so none of that stuff really has been tweaking me, but it'd be a bitch to get fucking locked up for something that I was trying to do on my own, but then have to get arrested for doing, and then, you know, wind up being on probation and failing probation because I can't find a job. That's a bitch. Um, Again, that's seasonal. Again, I'm not, you know, probation. He's being pretty cool with me about it, giving me some help finding some things. I've done all the Indeed.com, and you can't really follow too much up on a lot of that stuff, but just right here, I guess I could call a few of those places, ask if they're still doing it. Do it again, just kind of look through that stuff again, just to make sure, hit it up again, see if anything new's popped up onto there, which not really. I'd imagine too much. Again, it's a lot of seasonal things, and this is kind of one of those things where if somebody drops out, most of the time, and again, grain of salt, they know who they want next. If they don't, it's a one-person slot, and being on probation and having to tell them that, and having the stipulations of having to go to those places middle of the week, and it not exactly on the interview real great for hire. Um, it's what I got to deal with. Um, Again, for me, it was one of those things. When I was growing, I was actually still taking in applications and filling them out and sending them. I mean, obviously not as far as I've been taking it now. I mean, out of the region like I have been, but certainly around the region that I've been living in, I was doing that, and nobody was hiring me. Believe me, I know this was 3 years in the running, trying to do that, and it's a bitch. Um, First year trying to actually get enough to make sales, and so kind of a situation. That's where I'm really in with it right now. Um, just a real bitch. Hey, Einstein, he pounded on doors every day, college doors and stuff like that to get a job as a professor in some of those schools. Of course, I don't have the formal educational background, and that makes things hard for my other goals in life in terms of physics and psychology and cosmetology or whatever it is. And that's not beauty, that's a different kind of a statement. Basically, parapsychology, quantum mechanics, which will lead us into a lot of this, and again, some of those things I can do for those companies on the other side, more so than just physical labor. Um, but again, I did get a call from, what was it, through Workforce, a temp company, not Workforce, but another one, I forget the name of it. I think it started with an S, but I'm not really for sure. I forget what it was. I had it written down somewhere here, but And I got a call about the guy asking me about my backlog history and stuff like that. Tompkins, Johnson and Rhodes, S&S Stone, AW or A1 or not A1, but Deposit Lawn Care, Devonian, IWC, and I thought I did pretty good, except for it got to the point where like, oh, what kind of shift do you want to work? Well, I'm on probation, so there might be some stipulation problems, but my probation officer, he's already kind of told me he'd be pretty cool with me about it as long as I'm working. And that was on Thursday last week, and he said he was going to call me on Friday, and here it is Monday. um, so it does kind of make it tough because, I'm making this one in response to that. So, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference if they call me and I'm not home. Obviously, I'm not home. I can get that number to call back, but you want to try to be home for that kind of thing because this is one of the better ones. It is way out there in Delhi for potentially that dairy plant that they got out there right before Delhi, which would be a pretty good lick. It's big indoor factory, probably heavily automated and a lot of factory systems, and I'd imagine even they'd pay pretty decent just looking at the place from outside the door. Certainly enough to balance it back out to about the standard average of 8 labor anyways, if they're going to give me 10 or better. It's one of those kind of places when you look at it, but there's no real way to know for sure. I've gone in big companies and it doesn't matter. That's what it is. That's what it is. Again, Cannonsville lumber there. I've tried doing that one. Of course, I work for Schaefer doing S&S Stone, and we left on not exactly great terms. But for me, it's one of those things. Well, you tell you you're going to give me 950s since the time I started, and I do that for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, and you only give me 9. And I tell you about it every week when I ask for my paycheck. It's not exactly, And I come in the office and I thought, well, this is pretty much it, So, it's really not a fist fight or anything like that. But he did tell me after that interview, well, don't ever bother applying to this company again. So, who knows? I've certainly got the experience. I certainly got the forklift, the saw experience, the OSHA certification to do stuff like that. I've been certified, so I'm still in pretty good shape here. I'm only 28 years old, so I run 5 miles. It's been a while here. I'm not gonna lie, it's winter. Usually I give it a break during the winter, anyways. A little cold to be running in sweatpants and sweating like that in this kind of cold, so not exactly what I like to do. But when I was in jail, I was, cranking, an hour, 2-hour workout, 200, 300, 400. I start with 200 sit-ups and then do sets of push-ups, and, it was only a couple of months ago, so I'm not that far from it. Even putting on a few extra pounds. I look a little fluffy right now, but I know the system. When you get into you sweat. As long as you're sweating, you're burning, and that transitions into muscle. And then you got to eat right behind that. You can't be eating McDonald's and shit like that. And bringing your own lunches and just eating healthy. Kind of tough here. This is not me necessarily getting my own stuff. I'm kind of product to what I have access to. Just a lot of ramen noodles, So again, not horrible for you. I love ramen noodles. Anyways, it's kind of the one that's been bothering me. But on the side note, I'm trying to keep myself busy. Kind of, yeah, it's a horrible habit getting into YouTube every night, and oh man, you got the good stuff. You got space time, you got quantum mechanics, you got astrology. It's what you could be looking at, but it's like not going to get you far if you can't really study that stuff or apply it in the doc. So you watch cat videos or whatever. Found the cool one. I've been watching SCP, secure, contain, and protect kind of aspects. And again, whether they're real or not real, not really important. But I found a couple of cool ones. The missing number one, the perfect SCP, and 001, the sheath of paper one. And that kind of goes really well with with what this is. A general's command directive. It's a lot of quantum mechanics. When you read a landscaper's map form, it kind of mysteriously transforms the second time you open that book with what you might have on your mind about scales and dimensions, and everything starts to reform on there, because this is generals. This is, in the way I'm designing it, and the way I've designed ones in the past, it's the quantum mathematics, the erodes, an abruptly long sequence of reciprocating terms in algebraic systems, Fermat's an AX, BX, CX system, and Beal's AX plus BY equals CZ. Those principles, AX to A abruptly long is AX to BX. The beginning circumstances, a stone dock, managerial skills from general labor, any position, particle, or feature of a saw that is a particle that really transitions into its own form. The definitions and terms of a specific place is just like laying out a bank of terms for, you need a hammer, a chisel, a hose, safety gear, goggles, boots. When you start to OSHA lay out a specific piece of machinery, and then you scale it all out, it's going to have specifics to it. Some masks need to be 3M paint booth masks, or a dust mask, or very specific dimensions and scales that will go to that, which change, they're causally to the system. And in certain ways, when you begin to understand that, anybody can make an SCP, a name number, a containment procedure, which this is it's a whole stone dock, but this is the saw. This is the gantry, or the stockyard. You get into the brief description of specific Murphy's laws, or general Newtonian motions that define specific cuts or amendments to that system. This is SCP. It's FBI, CIA, intelligence summaries on a specific thing, OSHA. But again, they are general. When you start to get to know that, again, there's no such thing as general labor. That's why a boss has to step up and grab that shovel every once in a while. So again, this kind of stuff will give you the ability to know telepathy. When I know this equipment and I ask somebody else, what was the procedures you were doing? Or when I go to tell them that, I can give them mental domination, like, look, this is why you need to listen to me after this point. And again, telepathy to be like, I know you're lying to me. It's more direct physics than actually lifting a mountain with your mind. But again, when you know the managerial aspect of a system like this, it's lifting a mountain with your mind, or using a crew to do this, or getting somebody else to listen to your orders, not manipulatively or benevolently or malevolently. Again, the universe doesn't care one way or the other, if you're a quantum physicist anyways. Everything does have a cause and effect system to it, no doubt about that, but it doesn't always necessarily mean it's a negative effect. Again, it's indifferent to this idea. Usually you can have a little bit of mediumship, listening to the gantry saws. It's like listening to, the divine wind, Sun Tzu, to know that piece of equipment's going to break in the next 15, 20 minutes. It's like being clairvoyant. And having a system like this, and not just only having a system like this, being able to write a system like this, or be able to blueprint a very specific point of this, whether it be the business model, the resumes, any one of those variables individually. It's a quantum mechanic process. I can start with resumes to build a business model. I can do business models to do resumes and specifics to a position that I'm looking for, to bullet point why somebody would write a resume out the way I want it to. Instead of, this is machinery, why are you giving me McDonald's? I want kind of an aspect. A lot of that kind of is like a fist fight. Given somebody's first move, they're gonna shoot. You don't always jab. You don't always start the combatives model like that. You look at the combatives here, and the brain just instantly goes to shoot, grab, guillotine instead of the drills that is a workout program with just shadow boxing. The General's Command Directive, my journal. So, catch you on the next one.